Oops, sorry for the interruption. The first half of February was posted 2 weeks ago. You may want to check out that video also. And if you like, you might also want to hear the solar eclipse reading that talks about the July 2018 lunar eclipse that triggered the sell-off in December. So let's just get started with the second half of February. The salient feature of this reading as we move towards mid to the end of the month is the spark of emergency or expedient funding or money. I say spark because matters are too early to say that it's firm or well underway. There's a high degree of desperation in all predicaments. At the government, it's all about politicians versus politicians. And if you listen to my February new moon in Aquarius reading, there are behind-the-scene meetings, and female politicians would likely be besieged or in a hard spot. This is applicable to any situation, not just the government. It is highly possible that there could be a break in promise in some circumstances. Regardless, there would likely be a quick resolution that is good, but too early to tell how things could end up. The full moon in February is going to bring health and human services, armed services, civil servants, retail grocers, pet food companies, drugs used on animals, chicken producers, food purveyors, sundries, FDA inspectors, labor efficiency matters, Red Cross, restaurants, wheat, and working class issues to the fore. People in uniform or people who wear uniform, such as construction workers, hospital workers, restaurant workers, even athletes, are also highlighted or brought to the public. In the U.S., the traders are still confused and feel disadvantaged. There is still that fear of uncertainty regarding immigration and trade deal with foreign countries, as well as accounting for trade balance. Agribusiness and commodity futures will be in the forefront also. Border patrol matters come up again. Stock market is worried about the trade deal and oil. There could be an adjustment in accounting. The accounting figures could be confusing to traders or investors. Employment figures or civil servants matters also come to light, especially concerning health and human welfare. Somehow accounting figures are under scrutiny. So let's turn to the international sector. Iraq, Congo, Paris, Brazil, Los Angeles, even though it's not overseas, Jerusalem, Greece, and Turkey will be the standouts in the news. Congo, I think, has a new leader. I think that country is rich in rare earth minerals, but has labor problems or practices not acceptable to G7 nations. Their health matters culminate, but there looks to be an emergency money or aid. In California, schools and film industry may be experiencing labor problems. Sorry, I threw California in there, but I figure, okay, instead of covering California separately, because it's not a big deal, I thought I better just throw it in with these guys. Iraq, Turkey, and France issues are interrelated, and this could be about Workers' Party. However, on a separate note, Paris protesters like the Yellow Jackets and Red Scarves are just at the brink of forming into a force, a formidable force that could grow legs to stand on their own. Why do I say that? The working class public is just now starting to look at the newfound values or looking at this movement from a new perspective. There has been chaos and confusion up until now, but it's starting to firm and quicker resolution or remedy could be at hand. It's not written in stone yet. In Iraq, there could be problems with food as well as price of certain commodities. There could have been problems with currency, national debt issues regarding the cost of gas being too high, or things of that nature. This matter comes to head, and currency currently the currency parity could be reached by cutting the currency or price of goods and services. Some kind of cutting is involved. Some new money or price cuts can be good news for them. Turkey's currency problem can come to some adjustments by the end of the month. The news will likely be about currency adjustment or cuts in price of goods and services that make workers, even military workers, happy. So back to the U.S. Healthcare services, Medicare, worker pay, especially government workers, and high cost of drugs make the headlines. The government and workers are now starting to look at the cost of these drugs and health services. Currency cuts can come about or start at this time and tied to health care reform. But the most prominent in mid-February is about favorable cuts in currency price and quick resolution to money matters for workers. There's a cut in goods or services, or there is expedient solution or resolution that could please the workers. There's a new value that is accepted by workers, service providers, business, or the government. This could also apply to what's happening abroad in oil fields too. People are adjusting to circumstances and starting to look at some things in a different way. This country's solar return chart, which is the annual prediction for 2019, kicks in July. It highlights major preoccupations or events for 2019. And right now, we're still finishing up the 2018 events. And it shows strong employment, government crisis, and volatile markets after the lunar eclipse of July 27, 2018. So what's coming up in 2019 is debt, dollar, bonds, restructuring, pension fund, and more. But as I said, we're still in 2018. 2019 is going to happen in this July. There's something new regarding value of work, services, benefits, and the currency that is somehow tied to the debt service. This is the beginning of adjustment or selling for less. Settling for less. Again, someone is at the end of the rope and is about to make a change. But the crisis shifts in July. So, traders are in a state of discomfort about foreign trade and some legislation, as well as big pharmaceuticals, hospitals, other health service providers, and commodities. Traders and investors may find that clothing retailers, banks, property management services companies, currency, uniform makers, pet food companies, retail grocers, wheat, copper, beans, dairy companies, and poultry companies are highlighted. In the healthcare sector, special attention may be placed on companies that produce medicine for intestinal disorders. Again, accounting figures and analyst reports somehow come to the fore this month, especially the second half of the month, and it could also be about employment figures too. Somehow accounting figures are major. There has been earnings cuts and some unpleasantness or even disastrous crisis from the Mars-Uranus conjunction in the first half of the month that is carried over to the second half. That occurrence from the 1st to the 15th is very disturbing. So check out the new moon in Aquarius video. So Here's the full moon message. You might be in the need of routine checkup for health, car, or in need of repair services. Rumors of changing work routines could be coming up. If you're trying to rent, it's too early. You could find that you may have to make concessions, just not the advantageous time for service or employment contracts. Remember, the message is lose to win. Don't be too quick to sign a deal. Now, for Virgos and Capricorns and Taurus, things are actually looking good. However, there's a caution for Virgos in this full moon. If you are an early degree Virgo, meaning the sun is in an early degree, like 0 degree to say 5 degree, if you are trading, you may want to be careful because you may be your own enemy. And if you are mid Virgo, actually things are looking up. However, you want to be very cautious about being too optimistic. And if you feel like you have to release some pain, well, this might be the time that you would be doing that. Anyway, I will talk to you again because I'll be uploading some more videos regarding the upcoming, actually good events for the earth signs. Earth signs mean Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. I think you guys are going to be lucky.